This video is brought to you by Craven's Comic Books and Collectibles. Check out their weekly live show, auction, and sale at facebook.com/Craven's Comics every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can check out their inventory at cravenscomics.com. Craven's Comics, for the comics you crave. Welcome to the program, Connor Jessup. How's it going, man?
I'm good. I'm really good. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. Gotta say, really enjoyed season 2. It made me want to go investigate my dad's fishing caps. But
yes. You never know what secrets are lurking.
Exactly. You never know what's going on there. Definitely. But in this season, it feels like very much for Tyler, this is kind of his coming of age story. This is the going into manhood, putting away childish things. And this kind of coming into manhood is a trial by fire because it's a much darker arc for Tyler this season. What was it like creating the emotional arc for Tyler for this year?
I mean, honestly, it was quite fun. I mean, he in season 1, he's dealing with a lot, but it's pretty singular. Like he's carrying this weight of guilt about what happened with his dad, and basically all of season 1 for him emotionally is resolving that, and so it really is like a process of letting go of a weight, is season 1. And in season 2, now that he's mostly let go of that weight, it opens him up to feel a lot more different types of things, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And Tyler in season 2 felt more, he had more variation, and that was on the page, and so that was always more fun as an actor. You don't feel like you're going and you're doing the same scene or some version of the same scene every day. He really, where he starts in season 2 and where he is halfway through and where he is at the very end are very, very, very different places. And that's always fun as an actor, especially on TV, where sometimes you have the risk of characters spinning the wheel, filling time.
Yeah, Connor, I was just curious about if you could speak to compared to season 1, season 2, you guys take off running right off the top, right? So it's like you've gone through all of the setup for the characters. Season 2 now, of course, there's more effects, there's more like spectacular things happening. When you were coming into that, was that a lot of fun just to know that you had those shackles are off? You don't have to tell so much back of that early backstory. Now you can just get running when you start.
I think definitely. I think the show felt a bit freer, and I think we felt freer as actors because, we were joking in season 1 that we spent so much time, like, more than half of the first season, playing some version of like, wait, what's going on? Because you have to, like, it's like you're seeing that magic exists for the first time, and then that snowballs into basically all the plot of season 1. Doesn't give us a lot of breathing room to be like, okay, we know this world is the way it is, and now we can feel different ways about it. It really is just like, whoa, what's going on? And now that we know what's going on in season 2, and we don't have to play, every time we find a key, for example, now it doesn't have to be like, what? Like, how does this work? Right. Magic is real. So it actually allows us to, it gives us more room for like a bit of humor, for example. For example, there's this scene in season 2 where we get chased by a giant spider, and it was like so fun to shoot, and I think it's fun to watch because it's not played as like some crazy shocking thing. It's played almost as like a fun consequence of this world that we're in, and as actors, that I think that it opened up our menu of things we could play, and that's always just a little more fun.
Yeah, I gotta say that spider scene, if you guys had to do like practical effects for that instead of CGI, I would have been like, nope, I'm out.
Let me tell you what we were looking at on the day is not what you're looking at in the show.
No, I'm assuming like a tennis ball on a stick or something along those lines.
I wish it was a tennis ball on a stick. I'm quite fond of the tennis ball on a stick at this point. No, this was a man in a full green bodysuit with a mask, like a COVID mask, holding what looked like a cross section of a green bean over his head, waving it around and chasing us.
So essentially scarier than a spider.
Yeah, once the show comes out, I have all this behind the scenes footage that I'm going to post of like, there's a moment where Uncle Duncan like throws up like a cooking pot at him. Mm-hmm. And there's like, I have this scene, this behind the scenes footage of him like throwing a pot at this poor man, like protecting himself with this hard baked bean thing. It was very, I mean, having to pretend to be scared by that is not a bad job.
Oh, definitely. Oh man, but yeah, you brought up Uncle Duncan, and of course he gets to play a much bigger role in this season.
Which I was so happy about. I love Aaron. I think he brings such a great energy to the show, and it was so much fun having him around more often.
Yeah, and you had some pretty core scenes with him this season. What was it like getting to play with Aaron?
Yeah, I remember Carlton, one of our showrunners, he was like, "So this season, you and Aaron, you're going to be building a car." And I was like, okay. But the good thing is that's sort of how Tyler feels about it. He's like, oh, really? I joked with Aaron because he Uncle Duncan is gay, and I am gay, and we were doing these car scenes, and I was like, you are the straightest gay man that I have ever met. Oh God. No, I love him to death. No, I mean, Uncle, for us in season 2, Uncle Duncan really is our link to the past, and as we start to get more into the history of these keys and, what they meant to the original keepers of the keys, and also where they came from way before that. He's one of our very few resources. And the fact that at the beginning of the season, he doesn't seem to remember any of it is a kind of a mystery to us, and one that we start to want to solve. And he becomes really, really pivotal in the deepening of the mythology and in sort of expanding the emotional scope of the show in season 2.
Nice. The show continues to be awesome. As we get to watch it, I was really big fan of the first season. Looking at season 2 now, I was just curious about what it was like for you, like your experience coming in after COVID, like working on this, because it's been such a long time since season 1 to season 2. Like you're coming back to these characters again. It must be fun to come back after this much time.
I have to say, I really was. I mean, I'm always grateful to be working, obviously, and it's always fun to work. But there was like a really special feeling at the beginning of this one, because we started last September. It was about 6 months into the pandemic. And for almost everyone working on the show, on camera and behind, it was the first thing that they were doing since the pandemic. And so there was this enormous sense of like gratitude and relief to be working again, to be surrounded by people again, to be making things again, to be in a creative atmosphere. And we shot for a year. We shot seasons 2 and 3 back to back. So it really sustained us. I can speak for myself. It really sustained me through that otherwise really shitty time. So I was really grateful. I am really grateful that was there. And it was fun, like we got to have fun in a time that was pretty hard for, outside of work for people. And honestly, I was a bit worried going into it that, with everyone having to wear PPE and getting tested 3 times a week and all these additional restrictions and the stuff that we all have to deal with at our jobs and out in the world, that it would really make work a not fun place, that it would make it like a more clinical and more distant. And the exact opposite was true. Everyone felt so much more connected to each other. Everyone felt so much, I think, more of a desire to reach out to the people that they were working with. And I mean, in the crass sense, I mean, film crews can be pretty, and film casts can be pretty easy to complain. It's like it's a joke. It's not a lot of jobs give you free food, and people always find a way to complain. But this was like the happiest set that I've ever worked on, which says a lot about the people and about the desire to find something in a hard time.
That's awesome. That's really great that you guys got to come together on this, and it really shows in the season. I want to thank you so much for talking with us today. And if there was a key that you could give me so that I wouldn't have to go back to the rest of my workday, that'd be fantastic. But
we haven't found that one yet, but we can work on it.
okay, good stuff. All right. Well, you have yourself a great day.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Connor.